Hello guys, this is Obi from Gadget Fix. I have another video for you today. So this is basically a 15-inch MacBook Pro. These have a common, this is especially in the 2011 models, they have a dying GPU. So I'm just going to show you what happens. So basically it turns on, boom, you hear the chime. They are really good machines. The 15 inches are usually more high spec than 13 inch. So they usually have minimum 8 gig. They have i7 processors. Yeah, they're very good machines, but obviously they have this dying issue, and a lot of people reflow these. It's not a permanent solution. So what happens with reflow, you just heat the balls on the GPU and it may work for some time, sometimes 2 weeks, sometimes 3 weeks, sometimes 6 weeks, sometimes 6 months, but eventually they do come back. So it's not actually a permanent solution. So we didn't actually have a permanent solution up until now. So yes, there is a way to do disable the GPU, because they have an onboard GPU which is like integrated with the CPU, and they have a dedicated GPU, and the dedicated GPU is what dies on these models. So usually it'll get stuck, as you can see now. Sometimes you get the vertical lines and sometimes just a white screen, but obviously it'll get stuck and it won't boot. And I'm going to show you today how we fix this issue, and we've had none of these issues come back because it's obviously permanent. So we're still waiting. As you can see, it takes a long time and it'll never boot. Usually it'll give some sort of graphics error, or it'll just hang there. So I'm just trying to see if it's going to replicate the issue where it just gets stuck on a white screen. But at the moment it's taking quite a bit of time, and as you can see, it's not really moving. It's moving very slowly. Okay, so basically it's stuck. Let's turn it off. Let's try it again, just so you guys can see what sort of problems it makes. So that's one of the issues, that it won't load up. This time it's a bit faster. So yeah, the 2010 and 12 also had GPU issues, but we can actually solve those issues. 2010 had a tantalum capacitor problem, and you can solve that issue by upgrading to a larger capacitor. And the 2012, the Mux chip also dies, and you can resolder the joints and it will be working again. So this is the unique one, the 2011, and it's actually affected I believe all the models across 2011, except for the MacBook Pro 13 inch. But as far as I know, it's in the iMacs, it's even in the Mac Minis. So anything Mac 2011 was a really nasty year for them. As you can see, the graphical issues, and bang, it just turned off. It's back, white screen. So I'm glad we could capture that. So that's that. So now I'm going to show you how we fix this. Okay, so first I want to open up this machine. So this looks like a pretty clean machine compared to some of the other ones I've seen. A little bit of dust, it's quite normal at this age, considering these machines are like what 8, 9 years old, yeah, and they're still kicking. So we need to take out the logic board. First thing we need to do is always, as you know, disconnect the battery. Any electrical things we work on, always good practice to disconnect. Then I basically just work my way around the board, whatever needs to be disconnected. And that's a little shield that holds this. I've seen these like ripped out. People have ripped out the screw holes. Crazy stuff. So if you're not confident, if you don't know what you're doing, I suggest you give it to someone who knows. Yeah, so often people sometimes, you know, try to save money or whatever. They want to do the repairs themselves. If it's out of passion and love for, you know, repairs, I understand, that's 100% fine. But to save money, because often we get a lot of jobs that come in because people try to repair themselves, and it actually ends up costing more. So you're not really saving. You know, there's a lot that can go wrong. Whereas the guy who does this for a living, he, you know, pulls out, you know, 5-10 boards a day. It's less likely, you know, that he's gonna wreck something. You know, it's also experience, I guess. But yeah, so that's that. I'll work our way across. Yeah, so we've been doing a lot of these. 2011 MacBook Pros. A lot of people have them lying around. They don't know what to do with it. You know, some people, they don't like the idea. They say, well, what about, you know, it's disabling the GPU. Yeah, but it's either that or a dead machine. Like, what makes more sense, you know? You'd rather have a machine that works or a machine that doesn't work, you know? And it's no different to having like a 2011. I mean, you know, same thing with a 13-inch. You know, they don't have dedicated GPU, so you know, I think I forgot to disconnect that. So that's the board. I'll just take out the RAM sticks. That's the board out of the machine. Done. So I'm just gonna go over to my micro soldering station, and I'll show you how we fix this on the bench. Okay, guys. So we're back again. So this is the board. It's usually in a 15-inch. If you look over here on the board, 29158. These are the only boards that we can do this mod on. So if you have something else, and most likely got a 2010 or a 12. So yeah, let's do this. So basically, the first thing we do is remove this resistor. This is for the power of the GPU. We're not going to be needing that anymore. Make sure I got the right temps. So I remove that. it's gone. It's a bit hard to see. My microscope, I do have a microscope camera, as you can see here, but it's a very low quality one, and it records at like 10 frames, so it's impossible to make out what I'm doing, so I don't bother. Actually, I can probably show you on the screen. That'll be good. Where is the software? Okay, so that's no, start, yes, no, yes, detect, Yamcha camera, cannot connect the device, turn it off, start again. No device. Oh crap. Look, I'm not very good with this recording and setting up all these, OBS like other people do. So at least that's working, so you can see what's going on. Okay, that's great. So that's the first resistor that I pulled off. That's a sucker that comes from here. He's for power. And then we got another one for the backlight control, so it's a little bit dirty there. So this adjusts the brightness, so unless we solder, we're going to solder two wires to, one will go here, one will go to keyboard connector, so it will be adjustable. Because what happens with the High Sierra, the code they changed the code, so backlight wouldn't work, and it wouldn't wake up from sleep, or from sleep the backlight would not resume. We haven't had any of these issues with this mod. So let's get a little bit of alcohol and just clean this. Yep. So that's that. And that's that. And then we have to go to the BIOS. So the BIOS chip, this is where we install the chip. So I will be right back. Okay guys, so now the mod is done. I just want to show you under the microscope how the mod looks. Let's go into camera here. Let's zoom in a little. Okay, so we got 2 points that come up from the mod, and one of them runs under the fan, the other one runs straight to the other side. So this one connects to the keyboard, and that one connects to the backlight circuitry, the PWM, which adjusts backlight. So that's that. I'll give this a quick clean up. So basically what I will do now, we usually test this to see everything's functional and working, and then once it's working, I'll get a bit of hot glue and just secure these wires. Just put a little blob, just so when we ship these, a lot of time we get like orders in mail-ins, sometimes from interstate. So just because these wires, I don't want them to come loose in transport or whatever, and the traces break. But yeah, so they're actually really good. So yeah, that's how the mod works. I'll just I'll put this back in the machine and I'll show you how it works. Okay, back to the video. Now, kink this up a bit. Basically, get the charge port in. Oh, this is annoying. This is so annoying. Okay. That, like that. And oh, we lost the little guy. Little guy, come back, little guy. That's that, take that out, webcam stuck underneath, take that out, cable, oh, the little guy's going back in again. Ugh. Too much fun. Start from this side. Okay. Alright, let's just do this properly. Only just slides through, but yeah, like this one. Whoa, look at that baby, not much dust. That's a lot of fluff there. So that's that. This doesn't have to be perfect because I'm not, as I said, I will be most likely going to put some dabs of glue so the board will come back out, and we'll give it a good clean before we put it back in. This is just for testing purposes. Want to make sure everything's working before we seal the whole deal. That's that. Power. Oh, we didn't connect the webcam, but that's fine. Okay, let's get a little bit closer. block this just in case customers details. These are unbearably slow with standard hard drives. Definitely need a SSD, and SSDs, actually I might do a video about this, but SSDs really transform these machines, especially in like a high config with like 16 gigs of RAM and an i7. Wow. The only thing that usually pulls these back from the newer retinas is pretty much the retina itself. The display, you got the older, lower resolution on these machines, but other than that, they're very good. They're very good. So it's still loading, and I can hear some sound coming from the hard drive, so I would assume the hard drive's not too healthy. Okay, so we'll boot it up. Nice. So as you can see, from a non-working machine to a booting machine, and once you couple this with a SSD, wow, the performance is just amazing. And with the mod that we do, the backlight controls will work. You see, even on high Sierra. So that's just fantastic. So it's still booting. That's just because hard drive is quite old, and I believe around this age we've seen a lot of them coming for, hard drive replacements, because considering, it's a 7-8 year old machine, they're still quite good. That the original hard drive has actually lasted this long. So there you can see, beautiful. You'll see the performance issues. This mod doesn't actually slow down the laptop, if that makes sense, because all it's doing is disabling the GPU. So the CPU speed and the memory speed is all the same. On this particular machine, I think it's mostly restricted because of the hard drive speed. So clock hasn't been set, that's fine. As you can see, everything looks great. Although this mod won't really work out good for people who are who do graphics design and really GPU intensive, applications or tasks. So where it excels is that you got a working machine at the end of the day. Okay, so that's how we do the mod. I will seal this up. If you have any questions, drop a comment. Thank you for watching, and have a lovely day. Bye.